Hi friends, welcome back to the studio, or if you're new here, welcome. I am so overwhelmed by the amazing response to Amy Smith's Build As You Go technique for your Quilt As You Go blocks. I've been reading through all of your wonderful comments and your questions, and it's pretty clear many of you are ready to take this technique and run with it, especially for those bigger projects. And I'm with you. So today I just wanted to have a little chat with you all and answer some of those questions that you may have that I might have missed in the comments. We're going to talk about everything from scaling up to that king size quilt that you were asking about, and then how the backing really works. So let's get into it, okay? I do have my laptop in front of me, so from time to time I will be looking at that because I have all of your questions in a document so that I can answer those questions. And don't forget, Amy Smith is the creator of this technique, and I will leave links to her website where you can get all the supplies you'll need, which is not a lot, to begin your journey into this particular method of joining your quilt blocks. And this is what the book looks like that I am reading. So let's get to your questions. The first one was, can this really work for a king or queen quilt? Yes. Amy asked me to share with all of you that it is the same technique as adding the borders on the Autumn Cascade quilt in her book. This book that I showed you, and it's on page 13. Also, Amy is working on a video specifically on the larger quilts, how to use this technique to make those larger quilts, okay? And I will post in the community tab when that video is uploaded. It will be soon. Just watch for that. But better yet, go subscribe to Amy's YouTube channel. A link for that will also be in the description box below, and hit that notification bell so you know when that video is uploaded, and she will talk to you about making those larger quilts. And how do I handle the backing fabric? The backing fabric is the same principle as any other quilt. In our case, we put our quilt blocks right on batting, which is our foundation, and we're building those blocks. And once we have everything connected, as I showed in the video, you'll just cut your backing fabric 2 to 4 inches bigger than you normally would, and you could pin them, you can glue base them or spray based, whatever you want to do. And then when you add your sashing, it will quilt to the back. So I hope that makes sense, but you would just do your backing the same way. The next question was, do I need a special machine for this? Absolutely not. You watched me do all of the sewing right on my baby Necchi, which is the NC 102D. There was no problem at all. I did use a jean needle just because of the thickness, and really it wasn't that thick. I'm pretty sure you could just get away with using a regular foot and just pop that jean needle in there. But I had no problem on this machine. And this is an entry-level machine for Necchi. So, and that's why I did it in the video on this machine, to show all of you, you can do this with what you have, okay? So yes, you can do this on your home sewing machine. I had the question, will the sashing look busy on the front? You integrate that sashing however you want. You can do the width, and then you can do the design of the fabric. Whatever fabric you want to use, lay out those fabric strips, those sashings, and see how it looks. But it does not look busy. Like on this one, I just integrated a brown tone fabric, and that does not look busy at all. Let's see what else we have. Can the backing be pieced when making a larger quilt? Again, The larger quilts will be covered in a video by Amy Smith. We talked about that. Should the backing be cut larger than the finished quilt, and by how much? And yes, 2 to 4 inches. I like to do 2 to 4 inches. That gives me plenty of room on both sides. But it is a preference by a lot of quilters. Some quilters add a lot more than that. And I'm not a professional quilter. I love quilt as you go, and that's why I wanted to share this technique with all of you. Is a bed-size quilt made with this method still soft and comfortable to sleep under? Yes, it is. This is the top, so it will have all the texture. On the back, this is simply quilted, and it is one piece. Unless you have a larger quilt, then you might have 2 pieces that you stitch together. But otherwise, and look at this. It is very soft, so it's going to have a nice drape. And I even have stitching on the front here, the crazy quilt stitching. So no worries there. It will still be comfortable to sleep with. Is heat press batting tape fusible on one side or both sides? Just one side. Can the batting tape be repositioned if it is placed incorrectly? It depends on the tape that you have. Amy does have some tape in her shop, I believe, repositionable. And with those tapes, you would just heat it up and then pull it back. What can be used instead of batting tape? I don't know of anything else. Some people have suggested that they would just like to zigzag and connect everything. I would encourage you to try the batting tape only because it goes so fast. So you're not sitting at the sewing machine. These are quilts that you want to get done fast because you've put the time into those blocks, and to put them together quickly is just a bonus. So I would encourage you to check out the batting tape. The batting tape is not the same as lightweight fusible interfacing. The batting tape is softer. See how flimsy it is? It's sturdy, but it is bendable, if you will. It's soft. And you can feel the softness on this side, okay? This is the glue side. But with lightweight fusible interfacing, it was made to make things stiff. And yes, I have used the lightweight interfacing, fusible interfacing to connect some batting pieces that I had for other projects, just because that's all I had. But never again, I'm going to be using this. So there are differences, and the main one is the batting tape is softer. Yes, we covered this. Could the batting pieces simply be joined with a small zigzag stitch before adding the fabric covering strip? Absolutely. If you want to go that method, again, we're back at the sewing machine, and that will take extra time. You can actually lay this out if you have a big enough space and put multiples together at a time. So it goes really, really quick. And we talked about, could lightweight fusible interfacing be cut into strips and used as homemade batting tape? That's for your, let's say for a pot holder, or that's just off the top of my head. You wouldn't want to do that in a quilt. Again, that type of interfacing was made to make things have a stiffness to them. Would a twin needle make it easier to sew both sides of the fabric covering strip at once? I haven't tried it, but I am going to try it, and I will report back, because that is a great idea. But again, you want to be on the edge. You want to be on the edge of your strip. So I don't know where the twin needle is going to land here. This is only 1/2 inch, but if anyone does try that, please report back and let us know, okay? But I am going to try that. That's a great idea. I just don't know where it's going to land, but that would be awesome if it worked. And I do have a twin needle for my baby Necchi NC102D, and I will be trying that. Such great questions, right? Can a cover stitch machine be used to attach the covering strips? I'm not familiar with a cover stitch machine, so you would have to try that if you have one. Just take a couple blocks and try that. I only have a serger, and I'm not sure how you could do it with that. But If you figure that out, please let us know, okay? Can the backing be folded around to the front to create a full binding instead of adding separate binding? Yes, yes, yes. You can do that. So if you add 2 to 4 inches on your backing on each side, once you have your cover strips sewn down and you're ready to trim, what you could do is just cut each side down to 1 inch, fold over, and that's your binding. So you can get this quilt done even faster, right? That's a wonderful idea. I covered this in the beginning. Where can viewers purchase Amy's book, patterns, and recommended supplies? I'll leave a link in the description box below for all of you. And I think that was mainly it. A lot of these things are going to be trial and error. If there's something that you're wondering, maybe give it a try and then report back. I did this and this worked, or don't do this and it didn't work. But Amy does cover it pretty extensively in her book. Okay, and then she also has corrections in here. So you've got it all. And again, she is going to be doing the video for the larger quilts. Thank you so much for the love on that video. I love working with other creators and sharing their techniques with all of you. And I usually do it in junk gal style because here, remember, no rules, no perfection, but we do our best, right? And that's all we can do. We just want to get the quilt done and get it gifted, and so that we can start on another project. I hope these answers help you feel confident enough, because if you are a beginner, this is the perfect technique for you, because you can work on your quilt blocks and sew them right to the batting and get a stack of those. And step by step, you are learning sewing skills that you didn't have before, or you're enhancing the ones you already had. So that's why I love sharing these types of techniques. Even if you're advanced, going back to basics and doing beginner things, that's really a lot of fun and relaxing. That's what I love about sewing. When I come into my sewing room, it's like I'm at peace and I can try new things. And so anyway, give it a try. I hope you like it. And if you have more questions, pop them in the comments below. I would love to hear them, and I answer as many as I can, okay? I just want to thank you for being such a wonderful community. And until the next video, God bless you.